That is the Benelli TRX 702X, but this is the review you've been waiting for. So the Benelli TRK, the bike that costs $6,899 from new. And if you're one of the first, you get these £1,500 panniers included. But the thing of it is, this is a different review because this hasn't been given to me by Benelli. It's not been given to me by a main dealer to ride today. This is being lent to me by the owner. And he's had his few problems with it. But first of all, let's go through the specs and let's have a walk around. It's got a twin cylinder 698cc producing 70 horsepower with a wet weight of 218 kilograms with a 19 front wheel and 17 on the rear. Also a beautiful twin front brake, 20 litre fuel capacity reaching 50 miles per gallon with a beautiful 5-inch TFT display. With a seat height of 825mm. So this is the owner of the Benelli, and the thing of it is he's had a few little teething problems, but he'll take exactly what he likes and what he doesn't like about this bike.
So the few things I've had a problem with, one of the big ones which I've not seen mentioned is the main stand. It sits a bit too low, so trying to go around corners at low speed, it will grind out on you. I've ended up taking the rubber off of it, which has lifted it enough to give it the ground clearance to go around corners now. I've changed the front screen because I found the original one a bit too low. Being 6'1", I am quite a tall person. So I've changed it for a Givey airflow, which has made it much better now. And I've obviously added customized coloured crash bars just because, you know, they need to be.
So with all the boring bits done, the spec, find out what's wrong and right with this bike, let's put it through the 11 out of 10 road test and see if the Benelli, the most unspoken about adventure bike, is as good as they say it is and worth the money. So let's fire up the Benelli for the first time. Oh, I do like that clock. That TFT display is beautiful and bright. And the ABS will flash, and once you start going it will come off like all motorcycles. Oh, it's got a nice sound. Right, here we go. Let's give it a nice little beginning. So 6-gear speed box, what's beautiful. Let's see what this 70 horsepower beast can do out on the road. Now this is a slightly bumpy track until we go onto the main road, and I can say just on here the suspension is smooth, a gliding suspension. So let's pull out on the road. Right, here we go. 0 to 60. Here we go. Powering up. Plentiful. Oh, second gear. Bang. That's pretty quick, to be fair. That's 70 horsepower. That's pretty quick. It accelerates nice and is smooth through the gears as well. Instantly the clutch and also the gear pedal feels extremely light, like ridiculously light. You wouldn't even know you've clicked it into gear. There's no major clonk, nice and smooth straight in. Comfort level, straight off the bat, you sit more into this bike than I'd say on the bike. With this raised tank, with your legs right down here, you definitely sit more on it. Definitely more on it. Now, as Mike, who I borrowed this bike from, said, the screen that comes is quite low, and I can imagine quite a lot I'd say, of wind blasting around the top of the head. So this screen makes a big difference. He actually said to me the downside to putting these screens on is it has this kind of drag and pull effect that he thought might have been a problem with the bike, but it turns out to be the screen. So that's one thing to be aware of if you decide to adjust that. But that is quiet as well. It's got a nice quiet purr to this twin cylinder engine. No thumpy, just nice and smooth. Let's go into the first bend. Now that just goes around nicely, really nicely on the bends. Obviously these are the standard tyres that you expect to get with the bike from new. He's done 1,000 miles on it, so it's nice and running already. But look, it tilts in beautifully, absolutely beautifully tucks in. Let's drop it down for this bend and see what it accelerates out like. So we'll drop ourselves in, again grip the road beautifully, accelerate out. Now I will say, it's not a throw you back acceleration. I'm not going whoa like I do on some bikes. Smooth delivery, mid power is how I'd explain it. But plentiful, still plentiful to have some fun. Absolutely plentiful. Moving on to sort of the way your legs are, they're slightly down, so you've not got that raise enough. The pegs are nice and low, you do feel well planted, and again tucked in behind this nice big tank, so I'm not experiencing any kind of wind blasting around the legs as well. It's all flowing around quite nicely, so you've got a decent amount of protection, definitely a decent amount of protection. That's sweet. Oh, acceleration. And it has that slight, being an Italian brand, it does have that sweet sort of slight Italian naughtiness to it as well, that does make you want to give it probably a little bit too much beans. Brakes, bringing it down to the bend, braking down nicely, plentiful on that, definitely plentiful on that as well, with those twin discs on the front. Yeah, it's impressive. Straight out the bat, I've got to say that's impressive. And the big thing about it is that price point, to pick up an adventure bike like this for under 7 grand in the current market with a beautiful bright TFT screen. Normally they cheap out, and I'd say the suspension feels a bit rubbish. You normally get quite a lot of bounce, or you feel like you're sat on a park bench. This is smooth to the point where I'd say it feels like it's gliding. Absolutely feels like it's gliding. Plentiful, absolutely plentiful. For me, the Benelli is a very nice place to be. I could see for the comfort level. Now the seat itself though is a little bit too firm for me, but what I'd say is I could easily see me being sat on this and hacking down some serious miles straight away. I really could, because I've got that comfort level with my arms not being too high up, too far down. I'm in a nice sit up straight position. I'm with it. I'm generally with it. I think this feels pretty nice and pretty smooth. Bringing up the acceleration again. Oh, bottoms out at 9,000 revs according to the rev counter. But oh, it's got a nice little roar right at the top of the rev counter as well. Yeah, this has a nice experience for the rider. Definitely, this could easily be the most underrated adventure bike on the market, easily. Now the question is, the big question is, what does the 702X look like when you're on the road? So let's find out. So the Benelli TRX 702X is an absolute bargain. For under 7 grand, that front end just looks so meaty. There are a few things to bear in mind. You're not going to get thrown back with that throttle. It's got a nice steady delivery of power, so it's more for that kind of chilled out adventure cruising, but it feels super lightweight. So I can imagine if you want to do a little bit of green laning, some gravel tracks, this would be absolutely spot on. But for the price point, it's definitely a winner. It is the hidden gem currently in the mid-size adventure bikes. It's worth taking a test ride and having a look. But if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next episode here on the Helmet Head channel. And we'll be back with some more bike reviews, but this is a bargain.